wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show that people. Is our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that must be happen like I got blue skies. I love to make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up. Make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play a role. Get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait? It's a time calling. It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show my people. Believe our hopes are to needless reason. Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution.
Morning and welcome to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this morning, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. I'm Sister YaYa, Marin, Coleman, sitting in for Brother Most High this month, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's the day after Easter holiday. Give thanks, we're here, we're moving. Sweet Southside Belize City, behind the zinc fence here at XTV, simulcasting on Creme Radio. And that Tuesday morning, small up on holiday still it. I know the youth are still up a school break, or still up on school break, and some people have to get up and go to work. So respect to that. It's our time from now until 9 o'clock. And so the usual startup, you know, we have the weather forecast. Our forecaster today is Francisca Wellington, and it's brought to us by the National Meteorological Service of Belize. Then we go into the first news brief for the morning, brought to us by the newsroom under the leadership of Marisol Amaya. Weather time.
Good. Generally, fair weather continues to dominate the weather and will support sunny skies with cloudy spells today and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers will be isolated, and this trend will continue Wednesday and Wednesday night. Winds today will blow from the east at 10 to 20 knots, and seas will be moderate. High tides will occur at 6:12 this morning and 5:19 this evening. Low tides follow at 11:11 this morning and 12:35 tomorrow morning. Temperatures this afternoon will peak at 78 Fahrenheit up in the Maya Mountains, 86 along the coast, and 93 inland. The moon will set at 1:17 this afternoon, followed by the sun at 6:10 this evening. In the sargassum forecast, satellite imagery continue to show high concentration of sargassum over the area. Therefore, there is a high chance that more sargassum mats will continue drifting ashore during the next several days. And that's the latest from the Belize Weather Bureau. Do have a pleasant day.
The first private radio in Belize since 1980. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
The Belize music industry is mourning the loss of popular Punta Rock artist Consigo, whose formal name was Dion Ogaldes. Unfortunately, after 3 days, he succumbed to injuries received in a traffic accident on Holy Thursday. He was riding his motorcycle when he was knocked down. Police have yet to issue a report on the incident. Consigo had been transferred to the KHMH for continued treatment. A dynamic, dedicated, and passionate artist, he produced several dance hits, including Namole. Many became soundtracks for celebrations across Belize. His fellow artists are asking for a tribute fitting for a Belizean music star. On Saturday, Elaine Grange, the wife of injured Tropic Air pilot Howell Grange, reported that he had been placed in an induced coma to, quote, protect him from a chemical pneumonia due to blood in his lungs, end quote. After being extubated, she says he will remain in the intensive care unit, though he's doing better, while speaking a little and joking he would love a bear. He's currently on high-flow oxygen and is receiving blood due to a low blood count. She wrote, quote, Howell is still not out of harm. We still need to continue praying for his recovery, end quote. She thanked all who have shared words of encouragement and also Tropic Air for their assistance. She describes the ordeal as a traumatic time for the entire family. She reported that Grange received multiple stab wounds, including a major cut on his right arm and forearm, back, face, right ear, and left forearm. She stated that the stab wounds to his ears penetrated inside his mouth and cut his tongue, causing him to swallow some blood, some of which ended in his lungs. She shared that Grange is a man of faith and repeated the family's request for continued prayers. Tropic Air reported that Jerry, manager with the company, who had also been injured, was released on Friday. Passenger Fitzgerald Brown was released on Saturday. The body of Jeremiah Koch was found in Punta Gorda Town the morning of Good Friday, behind a house on Mahogany Street in the Indianville area not far from his home. He had multiple chop wounds. The discovery was made at around 9 a.m. On Easter Monday, police arrested a Guatemalan teenager and a 27-year-old construction worker, Axel Zetina, for Koch's murder. There was a traffic accident at the entrance of Guinea Grass Village in Orange Walk after 1 Monday afternoon. It involved a small white pickup truck which collided head-on with a black Explorer SUV on a curve. The truck had extensive damages to the front portion, while the SUV also had some damages. The driver of the pickup lost his life as a result of the impact. He had been transported to the hospital by persons who happened upon the scene, but he passed away en route to the Northern Regional Hospital. He was identified as Carlos Landaverde. The 95th hole Saturday Cross Classic left arguably like no other. The garland of roses was taken by British cyclist Jim Brown riding for Miami Blazers. American 20-year-old Alfredo Bueno from Team Legends out of Los Angeles took second place. Both teams are owned by Belizean Americans. It came down to a sprint 12 minutes before midday. Mexican Uriel Espinosa took third place, coming a few seconds behind the sprinters. The first Belizean to cross the finish line was Derek Chavarria, coming in some 6 minutes after the winner in a sprint. Over 100 riders lined up for the start at 6 a.m. to San Ignacio and back for the 140-mile race. 24 foreign riders registered, including from Mexico, USA, Canada, Honduras, Guatemala, Venezuela, Colombia, and Great Britain. There was an early four-man breakaway that included Justin Williams, Tariq Flowers, Hollister Baptist, and Mexican Uriel Espinosa. At Rockville, they had developed a minute and 12-second lead, riding at 25 miles per hour. At mile 27, the peloton closed the gap and turned it into a 30-man lead group. At mile 32, a couple riders tried to get out front, but were quickly reeled back in. On the return at Mount Hope, the lead group consisted of over 20 riders, including a handful of Belizeans. By Cotton Tree, the main group had been reduced to 13 riders, with only 3 Belizeans: Oscar Quiros, Jevin Gonzalez, and Derek Chavarria. They were riding at 18 miles per house in a mean headwind. By mile 34, the lead was only 4 riders strong: British Jim Brown, defending champion Honduran Luis Lopez, Mexican Uriel Espinosa, and American Alfredo Bueno. Lopez tried to get away but was not allowed, and he was eventually dropped by Bueno and Brown. Incredibly, despite the vicious headwind, They had increased their speed to some 27 miles per hour. The Mexican started falling behind but caught up. Closer to the city, he was dropped. Belizeans, left with a bitter taste, did not stay to watch the finish in the usual large numbers. There was a question mark on the reason for the lack of any attempt by Belizeans to mount a challenge to the foreigners to the finish. Pope Francis, the world's first Latin American pontiff, passed away Easter Monday at the age of 88 at 7:35 a.m. local time at the Vatican. He died of a stroke and heart failure. Pope Francis suffered from complications due to chronic lung disease and had spent 38 days hospitalized since February 14, when he developed a double pneumonia after a respiratory crisis. He had become the 266th Pope on March 13, 2013, and served in that role for 12 years. He was released earlier this month and last ministered on Easter Sunday, blessing thousands in St. Peter's Square. He was born in Argentina as Jorge Maria Berrigilo. He is remembered for his charm but humble demeanor. His papacy was marked by concern for the poor, but also for his criticism of capitalism and climate change. He brought many reforms to the church. On X, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated, quote, "The government and people of Belize mourn the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. We extend our deepest condolences to the global Catholic community. His legacy of compassion, humility, and peace will forever be remembered," end quote. It was recalled the visit of Prime Minister John Brisegna to the Vatican last year, where he and the Pope discussed, quote, "the Catholic Church's historic commitment to the development of Belize," end quote. The Diocese of Belize City and Belmopan has announced a memorial mass for Pope Francis to be held on Monday, April 28 at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Holy Redeemer Cathedral in Belize City. After 6 months, senior Belize Defense Force soldiers Captain Claudio Quiros and Major Ermil Ko returned to Belize Sunday from Haiti, where they participated in the United Nations Multinational Support Mission, MSS. The BDF, in a post on their Facebook page, stated that the officers assisted in different capacities, including community engagement, logistical and operational support, and security initiatives aimed at fostering peace in Haiti. Other soldiers were being prepared to deploy to Haiti. However, Belizean authorities repeated that the organizers of the mission needed to meet some requirements beforehand. The United States is the greatest funder of the MSS. That brings us to the end of the newscast. You can continue to listen to more news for the rest of the day. If you go to XTV, Creme Radio, at 9 to 12 is the morning stew, and you'll get news there, as well as commentary, people calling. And then at 12:30 is a full news package on Creme Radio. At 3 o'clock, there's a news brief, and at 5:15, there's a full news package. At 6 o'clock p.m., there's a full news package here at XTV. You could listen to our WUB programming at XTV Belize Facebook page or XTV Belize YouTube page. We're going to take one quick break, come back, open up the phone lines, and we attack.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
Welcome back to Wake Up Believe, guys, for this Tuesday morning. I tell you, I don't want a challenging Tuesday morning for me already. We got a lot of things to talk about. We have 2 guests lined up. The number at 280-5848. I write down the wrong number, I tell you. 280-5848. I have to breathe. First thing in the morning, BWS, they tired me. We have one water leak that was property on Hibiscus Lane. From midnight last night, the water they run. Based on my family report, the BWS responsible for the water leak there. But they don't have one 800 number for smart customers like myself. So if you don't have one BTL phone, you can't call the 800 number. All right, I texted them last night and texted them back this morning. They need one picture, the leak, before they could send somebody out to determine if it's on the customer side or on BWS side. Today that was a stressful day for me. With a bury with nephew today. And so I know I'm 100 right now, but I'm going to try to be patient with them. So I know I've gone up on the person. Like, the phone side, the leak there, I given her the address, go supply the leak there, but not it tired me, not this morning. And then there's so many things. We lost one young, vibrant Belizean artist, Consigo. My niece that I think it had because there are people who come out that are determined to hustle studio, which are like 1 block from apart from we family home now. For she a teenager, you know, like that I'm for their crew, that I'm for their studio. So it's a tough day today for a number of reasons. We have different stories we need to talk about. We just come off on Easter break. Belizean never win cross country, so for a lot of way we, Holy Saturday, the rest of the holiday never. Not the same for we when Belizean no win. And we have a lot of critique after the race. But, the milk done spill already, the race done. But for a whole year, we have a stomach. 3 foreigners, 1st, 2nd, 3rd place. I could have done a call this morning for some high vibration news, 280-5848. Real talk. Holy Saturday, I gone the key with some of the people's there. I usually go up on the bigger boat, but it's okay, and go with the other sister upon the smaller boat. So I gone the water taxi by Bridgefoot. Get up before 7 o'clock. We could catch one 8 o'clock boat. We sit down there, the wait for, some sister says she don't want to wait in the line. She'll be the first one to stand up at the cashier. So she gonna stand up at the cashier. The cashier come in at the booth. See my sister, they have 2 cubicles. See my sister at 1 cubicle. She gone to the next cubicle. She don't said nothing to my sister, we just to stand up the 1 cubicle where she not gone. So somebody else gone and stand up in it. So I just said, my goodness, just common courtesy. Because I simply say, come over to the next booth or something, say nothing. Okay, I gone, pay for my ticket. He asked me that the first time I ride with me, I say yes. He asked me for my personal information. I asked him, why you need my personal information? Because we need it. That not to tell me why I need it. He looked at me that attitude on my face and said, he need it because a port authority. I said, okay, I understand that. So I gave him my email address. We left and we gonna sit down. Now Easter say, no, a crowd and come, but we get it early. So other people come after we just sit down. So my sister, I want elder, so she gone, other people I make them know, I'm an elder. And I said, okay, just sit down right there at the front. So about 7:45 I get up and I say, well, make I go stand up in a line. When I got stand up, somebody holler the line over here. When I look to my right, one long line. Where I'm in the talk, I never noticed the line. We come early, so I say, well, I never hear no announcement. I don't see no sign we say you have to go in a line, so I don't go in a no line. I come here from before 7 o'clock, so I gonna stand up there. Some mature woman who Belizean people would identify as one Spanish speaker, and so would call her one Spanish person. she come rather boisterous saying, the boat not going nowhere unless I get another line. And then she the make move for put the, you know, like the bar where they, for create line like when you're in a bank. So she put the line, so I had to position myself, but she like put it for make sure I'm outside of the line, and I'm like, I'm not going in on no line. She say, if you're not going on the line, you're not going to get on the boat. I said, you don't have any policy where say that? You can't enforce something one and never tell customers about. You know, the other people, and they get rowdy too, because then they're there from before 7 o'clock or a little after 7, and so then think you're unfair. So this Spanish woman, I in a crowd, I say they go on Hagisha. Well, I the back out right back too. So one younger black woman, young, in her 20s, come and I said, excuse me, I said, I could talk to you for a minute. So she said, yes. So I talked to the younger black woman, but while I talked to she, about 3 times the older Spanish woman, the button, and I'm like, allow me. So I explained to the younger black woman, I lower my voice, you know, I had to try control myself, but explain to her what happened. She listened without interrupting me, patiently. And she said, Miss, so usually we have one boat, one for Gada Kikaka, one for Gada San Pedro. But because the Easter, we have 2 boats. It say, that line that we're on ina, or where on the argue boat, that is San Pedro boat. This one on the left, when I got nobody in the line, that the Kikaka boat. I say, wanna make the announcement yet? It said, no, we don't make the announcement yet. I say, why communication matter? Thank you very much. So I gone and stood up in the Kikaka line. When nobody never there, me and my sister were at the front of the line. So I asked she for your name. I tell her full disclosure that I'm a media worker and I want to talk about it when I go up on the air. And then I asked for the other person's name. Lo and behold, you know the person who want me to hug up himself with me, that the manager of the place. But I go in it today. I go and go talk. I go look for the owner. And it really, like, Belize just piss poor upon customer service. Like, we really need for the better upon customer service. And I know they said the customer is always right. Even though that's what they say, I don't buy that. The customer not always right. And when you work in a customer service, which I have for years, have extensive training, quite a bit of time you can get customers were upset. We want to set things where hurt your feelings. But in your training, that for you know enough to take it personal. And I know they say right for customers go off, like how I go off quite a bit of time that BWS, like how I gone off and then BWS people on WhatsApp this morning. I rattled with them already because of the same thing where I explained to them one that a taxi, water taxi, you cannot. It's unfair to enforce a policy that you did not inform the customers about. It's unfair. And most Belizean people, when cuss holla scream, do what I say for the most part and go long. 9 out of 10 times that and YaYa. 9 out of 10 times I want to take the time, I going through the process, I want to talk about it publicly, I want to write about it, I want to find out what happened, I want to come back and tell the people 9 out of 10 times. And I stay so because we had a mother who lived that. Everything that Jean Marin. And so that's why I say, whether that's for we interest, like for we family or for we neighbor, if it's wrong and you could assist to make it right, you make it right. It takes a lot of time and energy. You have other things that are going in your life besides that. But Belizean people, again, if we not organize for what we want, we not get what we want. You get what you organize for. And so I don't get me to talk about it, and I really don't want to run off long this morning. The number is 2805848. Make I drink some water. I definitely drink some water and mind my business because this is a Belizean people business. And I know we don't have enough talking, but this is one you saw. I want stretch talking pan. And I had a holler for Belizean people. If we take this a Bokocha, the salaries increase. Belizean people, really, if you have, really, this is what the unions there for Circle Pan, this is what the opposition party for Circle Pan, this is what the university of Belize for, or universities for Circle, they're the entities where are to take leadership in a matters like this. And I mean strong leadership, awareness campaign, meaningful community communications, holding the people accountable. But I don't have one history of we doing this. For look out for the majority of Belizean people. People will make $5 an hour minimum wage. People will not work. That for we, anytime we go to shop, that for we money want pay for their salaries, you know. That for we money to pay for their salaries. So I say, make I take my time. This thing really pissed me off. And give thanks for a lot of Belizeans. They grumble about it, they holler about it, they're on social media. But we need more than talking. We need, like some of the entities who I call out, we're supposed to look out for the interests of Belizeans, because the government of Belize is supposed to look out for our interests. This the way our area representatives supposed to do right now. This the way our area representatives supposed to do right now. But a number of the area representatives, the ministers, and when I talk about, well, based on the research I do, again, if I give any numbers are wrong, you could call me and hold me accountable right away. But these are the numbers that I find. So I want to take quickly, I want to run down to Belizeans, where Belizeans make at $5 per hour. So at $5 per hour, working at 45 hours for the week, Belizeans make $225 for the week. $5 an hour, 45 hours for the week. They make $225. The cabinet secretary's salary gone from $81,000 to $96,000 for the year. Now they are before taxes. Underline, they are before taxes. So when I'm going to make $81,000 for the year, the cabinet secretary, I divide that by 52, because 52 weeks in the year, I'm going to make, and I never wrong it off, $1,557.69231. So when I say $1,557 a week, the way the cab sec me to make, and this are my 2 cents, the worthlessness of the, you know, the general election on the 12th of March, and they say, carry it back to the 13th of March. From the 13th of March, they will start to make this money. One day after general election, mind you know, no budget no run yet, you know. We don't know what will be the budget for this fiscal year, but then they get for the pound of flesh. So the segment they make, based on my calculation, it gone from $81,000 a year to $96,000 a year. So while everyday Belizeans, if you got employment and they make minimum wage of $225 a week, the cab sec before taxes want to make $1,846 a week. CEOs gone from $76,000 to $88,000. Again, this is before taxes. I just divide the $76,000 and $88,000 by 52 weeks. Before, CEOs going to make $1,461.53846. Now they want to make $1,692.30769. But look, I say $1,692 a week. Chief executive officers in the ministries before taxes. Ministers, based on what I say, make $81,000 Belize a year plus $35,000 Belize in allowances. So when I divide the 81,000 by 52 and the 35,000 allowances by 52, your ministers before taxes weekly, the care home, $2,230 Belize, while everyday Belizeans, where they make $5 an hour, they make $225 a week. The junior ministers, $54,000 a year plus $54,000 Belize in allowances, based on my calculation. That means before taxes, then the care home approximately $2,076,000 Belize a week. Want to hear how much money? Then they make per week, and believe me, a number of them have additional sources of income. While Belizean people care home $225 a week, we know say rent they go up. We know say groceries they go up. We know so we have elderly, we have sick families. We have to buy clothes, you have to buy How the hell one adult, much less one adult with children responsible for an elder on $225 a week? How? Belizean people, what we on the borders? Other than cuss, holler, scream, and get on social media, what we on the borders? I need enough for call 280-5848. I need somebody for help me, help we. What we on the borders? Currently in the United States, the independent Vermont Senator, Bernie Sanders, and the representative, I think from New York, Alexandra, the AOC, Oscar, wait. I think I write down in name Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. And I understand me all writing anyways. Then the power tour of the United States, what they call fighting the oligarchy. Because what then they experience, that is the same thing what we experience. The rich, they get richer, and the impoverished people, they get more impoverished. We cannot keep accepting this, and especially I want to talk to black people of Belize City, African descendants racialized as black people of Belize City in particular. For the first time this year, I watched the nomination parade. As 95% of the people in them identifiable black people. For the people that want me to vie for be ministers in the Belize City area. No black people, they support them people who are ministers. You hear how much them ministers they care home? Why? For crumbs? And we know one number of them, and this is systemic, they're not only this administration. Every day people will become ministers and tastefully power and influence, bag of money. Disrespectful to the people that will vote then they. Now when they want to vote for them, they can simple up themselves, and we simple up ourselves the ones that we tolerate there and go vote for them. Now, some working class families have other benefits, They're not only their $50 or $100. You have some families who want to pay water bill or want to pay light bill. You have some families where get houses, then people get jobs. Now, we tend to want to look down upon working class people and talk bad about them, but we're not talk about the middle and upper class where them beg it too, They just beg bigger. They might get a key. They might get some tax write-off. They might get some land. They might pass over some money for campaign, finance. I like the corruption. And we, the Belizean people, begin at the corruption. People will drive for ministers. People who are ministers lucky will agree for make money going in and credit union account, and the credit union they know damn well then working class people can have then thousands of dollars in their account, calling a working class people, but they low it too. We have to fix one problem, you have to dig it up from the root and tell the truth. We are responsible, we Belizean people, we get so sick of we. What we want about it, this the way we can pass off to another generation of Belizean people. Like my brother, the co-host of Sunday Review say, make it be clear, their territories like Belize were birthed out of violence. Birthed. The violence make we there. So not be surprised that we live in a violent culture. And not only the brethren upon the ground responsible for this violence. Yes, they have one level of responsibility. But the people in a leadership from the top bear the biggest responsibility. But we not see them white collar workers, they get buried, they get sent to jail, they get beat up in a piss house. We not see them. We think they're not people. if we made the bag of money, we get invested in a meaningful sports program, in a meaningful resource center, with people in our communities will have credibility. We show them care about we. The people in the community know who that people are. They know who genuinely care about them. Now, if you get them one thing, they want to take it, because then I don't judge nobody. You don't got adequate housing. Somebody they pay. Who me for tell somebody not take it? Me not got it for give nobody. But how we end up here? It get worse, Belizeans. What we want to do? And if we have the mindset that nothing no one change, then nothing no one change. So one of the first things we have to change the how we think. That for we change for we mind. We're mentally enslaved to think that we don't have what it takes for find solutions to for we challenges and be active in the changing. We could do it. Historically, we have done it, but we don't know with stories. And it's intentional that we're not taught with stories, because if we learn it, you say, what? For we people did that? We had way less materially. We live under harsher physical conditions. Yes, one lot of them did. Yes, one lot of them suffer mentally, physically, spiritually. Yes. But because of them do that, we there. What we want to do? We just want to keep the talk and drink and sex and smoke and party and dead out and sex and party and drink and smoke and dead out and sex and party and smoke and drink and cuss and holler and come on, Belizeans. We are more than that. We worth more than that. This is a really one opportunity for we stop and think for ourselves. And so what we could do different. The number at 2805848. Somebody call now. I tired of talk already at the top. Must be ding in here. Must say 18 minutes. No, I want to talk for 18 minutes. And a lot of talking. YUB Educational Foundation, the consciousness arm of Zinc Fence. You have a Mandela newspaper, 55 years, Creme Radio, 35 years, UEF, 29 years, XTV, I think 21 years. UEF is, and I said this because I tell you no, I just don't talk for like 18 minutes. Today's Earth Day. Today is Earth Day. April 22nd is Earth Day. And one of UEF's partners, I shall send the flyer to my sister earlier to the MCO, the Master Chief Operator. This morning is Alexi Belisle. So I'm going to send it to Alexi now, so Alexi could show now. Black in Marine Science, which is just what the organization name is, an American-based non-governmental organization led by African descendants, racialized as black people, marine scientists. And then I want a UEF International Solidarity Partners. And so they're having a 24-hour live stream event. And it's Currents of Change speakers. It's a 24 hours live stream event, amplifying voices in ocean science, conservation, and advocacy. And they have one program named BIM Swim. So we take our brother Cliff Augustine film photography camp for the past 2 years, and we'll do so for the other 7 years to Placencia for a week, usually the second week in July, for where children learn how to swim and also learn ocean safety. Black in Marine Science, intentional for work with black communities, especially the ones that were close to the ocean, for ensure that we have more youths who know how to swim. I'm hoping that they would have more interest in the ocean for become a marine scientist, or environmental attorney, work in a scuba diving shop, or become a scuba diver, work in a rescue operation. And now for UEF, these are black youths from the inner city. So we have 7 youths from Mayflower, Baca Martins, Jane Usher, Yabra, and well, one of them moved with us, live on Fabas Road, but he live on New Road now. We're looking at inner city youths learning the value of swimming. Now, again, for some Belizeans, learn to swim, depending upon the generation of Belizeans, I know a number of people, and people could tell about it too, that then there's got a hanger, and that's so they learn to swim. And I don't know how much, I know they still have, especially boys more so than girls, would roam about the street and then go learn to swim. And they've had some drownings when that happened. You have young people unsupervised. But today's Earth Day, and we have one lot to be thankful for to the earth. We need for the better. It's not just about us as human beings, like what we undo for left the earth one better space than we find it, but also how we engage the earth as a living being, and the harm that we create to the earth. Now, what's called the global south, south of the equator, and the global north. The global north have a number of what they call developed countries, and they only develop because they extract African descendants, human beings, use them as property chattel for, in Belize's case, extraction of timber, logwood, mahogany, in the Caribbean, the continent of Africa, in Asia. It was other products, sugar, tobacco, cocoa, banana. So it's that the how come they call them countries first world, because they extract, they kill, they plunder, they grab. So a number of them people dead out too, but we still live, people of color, black and brown people, African indigenous people, African descendants, still live from the trauma, from the harm of that extraction in our system, one economic system, what they call one capitalist system, which about the rich get richer and the poor get poor. But the capitalist system, you think of it like a pyramid, at the base are working class people. And I've seen what I say, if working class people would get up off of their knee and stand up straight, the pyramid won't crumble. But for that happen, now what we talk about, I want to change our mindset. That for have the confidence that we could solve we own challenges, and not get caught up with European people, with people who have less melanin than you, and having the mindset that just because they have less melanin than you, that they're worth more than you, that they're smarter than you, that they have one right to have one better quality of life. Nothing no go so. Remember, I said that African people, melanated people, are the first recorded, documented people on planet Earth. All human beings come from we genes. That's what I think I want to call the Eve gene. All are humanity. Africa is the cradle of civilization. And not me say so, do the research. Evidence-based. So we know in the year 2025, that's the Gregorian calendar. Average, when you look upon ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, we did about 6,000 or something in a years. And then indigenous people count their years differently too. But I say all that to say that the enslavement of African people are an interruption of our stories. We're more than people who were enslaved and are still mentally enslaved. But we learn and know that we have a way tech for solve. I know that hard for even here right now, if you're hungry, if you stress out, if you need a bath, if you don't have an adequate house to sleep in, if you struggle with some kind of illness where you're not even diagnosed with, if you see your parents they suffer, if they're even available for you, because a number of people abandon and neglect with people. I am being real about the hardship. Like, I hear some stories right here that believes when my mind can't even think. I don't grow up as an impoverished person. I come from working class people, yes. But the first 10 years of my life, I grew up middle class. Our family, my parents divorced, I would end up homeless as some lifestyle change. But I grew up with hardship, but nothing compared to where a lot of Belizean people, at least me and my other two sisters, our younger sister, she grew up in a hard life because the family done broke up then. So I don't pretend that I could relate to the hardship of where a lot of people go through. No. When people tell me, I hear it, then as human beings, I feel for them, I'm like, my mind can't conceive the suffering of people. So I hear, you know, every day people want to say morning. People, they know, you know, you hear a pastor and you say, you don't know what people that live with you, see people that walk, but you don't know the pain what they have inside and then what they carry for years. I know people complain about the drinking culture that Belizean people burn the drink. This is not new. It's just that the liquor more available, we could see it at a young age. We talk like as young as, and it could be younger than 12, but as young as 12. It in the house, adults to drink it, then careless with it. They send some of the young children in for go buy the liquor, and this they're not just black people I talk about. I talk about Belizean culture. The class of people. Now, then one we might not send it. That don't mean that they don't got it, then top shelf in their house and they don't drink it same way. That mean that some of the people don't put it in their coffee and act like they just coffee, then they drink and then they mask because then they numb themselves to deal with the challenges of life. There are different class of people. But I talk about working people, impoverished people throughout the country. You see, you go to a village, you see people stagger, you see people on the roadside, you see how it impacts the family, money they spend on alcohol or whatever else people they use as one vice. It could be any other drug, it could be prescription drug, it could be shopping, we stand bad Belizean people. Thank you. Morning, finally somebody called. Thank you, talk to me.
Good morning, sister.
Morning, brother, talk to me.
You know, I the YaYa, man, I did the UDP for YaYa the zero.
We'll say?
They should have been giving me this big pay long time. They should have been giving me this pay for 1984 big time.
We the talk about.
But for the ministers, you know.
Wait. You got me last. We the talk about.
That's what you talk about.
But I hear the talk about this pay should have been come long time. Which pay you the talk about?
I said, listen, okay then. I heard you say the government, they give people $5 an hour on the tree, whatever, then they get bring them to $240 a week. And the ministers, they get so much they care more. But they had the talent to get a pay, and they wanted to get the $240, got the talent to get a pay. So I did say, I did blame the UDP which should have do that for 1984. That's all. Good morning.
All right, brother. All right. I don't agree with you, but that's okay that we don't always have to agree. Because this is one concern we have, and we gone. If anybody know the answer to this, please call and tell me, because I don't know the problem. I don't know the answer. Now, this happened under this administration, but under both administrations, the quality of life for most Belizeans has not improved. That are both political parties. I not voting in this country. I get deported for voting at the United States elections, but I not voting in this country. So I'm not at my right as a Belizean. And no, please not come with no foolishness, but if you not vote, you don't have no right to talk. Because my record show, I not only talk, I act consistently and get results enough time in the interest of African descendants racialized as Belizeans. So I say, I want to stop the just repeating, I want to hear people say, instead I want to think for myself and see if you to say even makes sense. Belizeans overall, the majority of people not have one better quality of life from the time they said and get political independence. And this is not just the Belize. You could look upon the Caribbean overall. Primarily because there was no decolonization. The same thing with the European colonizers and enslavers, the same values they have, the people that will look like we just pick up their same value and continue the same thing and do wasara. That's not enough for we interest. But you can't give where you live. If the people who, this is the last call because after this the break. Morning, thanks for call, talk to me.
Hey, morning, Sister YaYa.
Yes, brother.
I want to give you a little update of what happened at PG.
The PG?
No, ma'am. Yes, miss.
Tell me, Penny.
Penny Punta Gorda. Penny Punta Gorda, miss, experienced the highest or the most crime over the Easter holiday, especially the Holy Week. And miss, you know what you call it, in the state of emergency or something like that. Command and miss, this to tell we that people at PG Penny are hurted and they are angry and the police are not doing enough. We sit in the patrol, but man, they have to patrol more professionally, especially those who are doing the foot patrol. And the vehicle patrol as well. We need to see more of that. We need to see more bicycle patrol. We need to see more motorcycle patrol. Miss, people at PG are hurted, especially our youth. And you know why they are hurted, Sister YaYa? Because they are not working. There is not enough avenues for them to work. They are not being put to work. The work that is being done here, especially on our streets, are being done by people outside of our district, outside of our town. The only time they call them by to work is when the cement truck they come and they are poor cement. No man, they might need more than that. They buy a part of the 5,032 voters who voted for the president or representative, you know. So I declare for email to put them right to work. We know why they boy don't want work. They boy want work. So I declare on the air to put them right to work. I want also to talk about the PSB, the Professional Standard Branch, miss. Miss, I don't think that we for Toledo supposed to go all the way to Belize City for right to give a report and come back and then go back and check. Because, miss, when the former commissioner of police was here, for a meeting, he said that he knows about all the crime that happened. He knows all the crime people did. But yet, nothing not get done. People are still here hurting and waiting for closure for crime that happened to them innocently. And this public, that's why I want to say here that the public, that the Professional Standard Branch should be decentralized, man. We supposed to have a branch of that right to Toledo. Right to Toledo, miss. And as I said earlier, when the former commissioner was here, a lady stood up. She was emotional because she had gone to the Professional Standard Branch over 3 times and nothing has been done. Is this Professional Standard Branch only for poor, only for the rich and the wealthy? Come on, man. If we are to solve crime, the branches that are responsible are to work for us impartial. I have a case right now. Miss. Report, I was given dates. The first time, no magistrate. The second time, adjourned. And the third time, when I know who I said step out of the chamber of the magistracy, the two leaders of the police department here in PG. And minutes after he stepped out, after they stepped out, I was calm. And you know what the magistrate told me? That I need to go and give a report to the professional standard branch. Command and I am a believer. I'm supposed to know, I'm supposed to have the ability to use any part of the court to get a hearing. If I want to use the court, if I want to use the low court, if I want to use civil suit or the high court, I have that opportunity. So right now I have to go to the professional standard branch to write a report. When I don't hear of the delinquency within the professional branch from individuals here at public meetings,
Brother, I have to end the call because I have to go to a break and I have one guest.
I just want to end by asking all of these people to work for the Belizean people with impartiality. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call. What a penny. It's 2 cents come time. It's been brought to us by Port Point Security. Get it out, YaYa. Port Point Security. And then we'll have our guest Kenny Morgan to have a reasoning about his book of poetry that he's promoting. Break time.
You're watching WB on Creme Television, and this is XTV. And so the council is implementing the safety for seatbelts and non-texting on your cellular phone. I want to find out the people in 2 cents on it in the traffic. So how you feel about the enforcement of the law with seatbelt or cellular or phone texting while driving?
Well, the seatbelt law is good, but as far as in the city is concerned, as a taximan, cars don't go fast in the city. I mean, on the highway, I expect the seatbelt supposed to be on. That's perfectly ordered and ordered on the highway. But as far as the city is concerned, whoever said they got to put on seatbelt in the city has to go back and rethink it, because he's not thinking correct. Because cars only go like 10, 15 miles an hour in the city. What you want to do with a seatbelt on? It's like you bringing me back to COVID days, that I got to put my seatbelt on, and I don't know what's going on behind me. So if my passenger don't have a seatbelt on, I'm going to get a ticket for that. That's like in COVID, I supposed to have my mask on and they supposed to have their mask on. If I'm at the front, who I know what's going on to the back? They really ought to reconsider this and draft the law over. And the highway is perfectly right.
Then the force, I want to use the word force, but how you feel about have to use your seatbelt and stop text on phone? The law.
That is a very good idea. We can save life and save itself. But we got people out there right in front of this water taxi today. They run people and they don't even have a taxi license or a taxi license plate, my brother. Then people use it with a union out there for 35 years. Listen to me. And what transpired right out there, then people actually put me out of this place without no kind of idea. We really want to know where to go on. This thing is run by Colombians and this thing is run by Belizeans. We want to know exactly where to go on here. They got to go like a dog. When the boat come, they shut the door. When then there is so much thing, and then they got this van, they carry the people here at port.
So you have a bigger issues.
Bigger issue on that, but we don't.
So you dealt with the seatbelt, you dealt with the non-taxi.
I dealt with that, but you can't have.
What concern you is that people run taxi without original taxi plate.
That is correct. Then see, the council need to do something about that, because then you can't have people like carry. We don't taxi driver. We don't got no idea. Forget one job out there, my brother. This is insane, man. This is a chance to Belizean people so much. This is not appreciable. Then them Baleaco, they charge 15 US per person, when we charge 30 US for a league group of people. Then they hit them in the van like a pile of rubbish. We need to talk to them people in here. They don't want with it though. That's my 2 cents.
How do they force and implement the law for seatbelt and non-texting? How do you feel about it?
Well, I think that's a good thing, because most people don't put on a seatbelt. Then something happen, then they end up in a bad situation. Phone make people end up in a bad situation. I think that's a good thing to me.
Yeah, you're too saying.
That my two cents on that.
So you feel about the new law when they have out for you put on the seatbelt and non-texting and driving?
Yeah, man, it's good. You just have to stay safe, you know. This is it.
to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for this morning, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, the Tuesday after Easter weekend. We have in the studio this morning, I know, some Belizean might not know one, but we got a bunch of know one too. A well-known Belizean poet, Kenny Morgan. Good morning, brother. Welcome to XTV.
Good morning, sister, and good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
I saw you got pulled back a zinc though. No, I know. I can keep it real, right? I want to know why I'm here, right? I don't guess people. I know anybody I got for guess.
Well,
but listen. I can't keep it real with you, right? But when Moore said, I remember this, brother, the original Cremite. Me that just come. Me just come 18 plus years. But you know how long Cremite about?
No, like
35 plus years. This brother, original Cremite. So he earned the space. I can't take no call right now. Hold on. Carla, I can't talk to you right now. I go and guess. You could call back after the 8 o'clock break, okay? Please? Thanks, brother. Appreciate your understanding. I'm a people's and my half are just reason up with them.
So you go.
So yes, so Kenny Morgan, if you don't know, from foundation, the man got you a number transition, physical transition, mental transition.
Yeah.
So we are getting a sense of the transition where you going through because it come for promote one poetry book.
Poetry, yes.
So now, brother, how you feel this morning?
I feel good to be alive and glad to be here. Thank you for having me. And of course, as you say, I call and go do a little promotion on the newest thing where I work on, the book of poetry. Called If You Think That Lie. It includes material where I write for the past 40 years almost, and we just decided to put it together in collaboration with Image Factory, so that the first ever Kenny Morgan publication takes place tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at the Bliss. So I just come across and show the people what the book will look like, so they could get a view of it. And if possible, give them a couple of minutes, maybe at least sample of 1 or 2 things so they could hear what's in store.
How much it will cost?
One smally $20. We've gone to efforts to make sure that we keep the price at $20. We want it affordable for as many people as possible. So $20.
How much pages the book got?
The book got 36 pages, 37 pages, 19 poems.
And what them poem they talk about? When I get to the book, when I get to the book and you want to talk your poem, but you know into your choir and media, you know, and got the different vibration.
That is understood.
So
and that
this,
is
usually with poets, I had to tell you, no disrespect to Belizean poets, but I hardly read Belizean poets, because this is my concern.
Yeah.
Similarly to poetry, that is the same thing when I say art. You could say the colonization of people. They're not, they're not free. Like even when you're sitting in the act, they're like 1, 2, 3, move so. They don't have, even when the structure, I'm like, just be on yourself. So one thing where I'll give you credit for, what the book name?
If you don't think that lie.
So the fact that they're in a Creole, I'm like, all right, that we are the talk to. Because you have to talk the people language then if you bring something to we.
I agree with everything what you just say, YaYa, in that well, a lot of the artists there, when they go in there prepare or present one package thing where they have been led to believe that what the people want. Art's supposed to be expressing yourself from within. So that's why I hope for show people, and you say no disrespect to all the Belizean poets and them who have done work before. I echo that sentiment there too. But Corner Bliss tomorrow, because a lot of people read poetry, a lot of people recite poetry. I perform poetry. There's a big difference. And
would your kind of poetry be more spoken word like Mutabaruka?
Both types, spoken word, open rhyme, line by line. We do, the main thing is the expression, and the poetry have absolutely no limits. It is coming from within. It talks about themes that I believe all Belizeans who could recognize and identify with.
What are some themes?
The proliferation of guns in the street. The young boys don't get it right brought up, so they don't get right education to make them know that they have potential to be something other than what they are being before. the fact that all up to now, a lot of predatory characters they out there will look for the legal level 8 or 9 or 10 with the wrong kind of eye, and we have to bear in mind that we as parents and guardians in a society get to a little bit too permissive or tolerant. You see also legally dressed. Legal can't sexy. You can't buy big people clothes in a small picnic size and put it for legal. And oh, watch my baby sexy. You set up your baby for Target. I remember I was still not catch jacket. It goes this way. It might be anybody. It might be me. We not catch jacket. Then I think where the book really they address different subjects.
I know any love poem in there?
Love expressed in a lot of different ways, but yes,
but you know, we want some sweetness too.
That is provided.
So that in there.
That is provided.
Alright, so make I hear you're the right about the talk, Lord, the talk, Lord.
No, with the
you're the talk about you're the talk about you're the right about 40 years. You say you're the right.
More longer than that.
How long you the right?
For I born.
Like what the first poem you write? How old are you? You remember?
Yeah, hard for remember the first one when I write.
Well, just where I could think of, like, what was it that is, because I'm amazed, like, people naturally, I'm like, you just open your mouth and that song come out, like to me, that's amazing. So we one belly pay now a poet, and I'm just like, you just write that? Like how you know you are a poet? How you may know?
Well, for primary school, I had some wonderful teachers, Miss Flas Casasola, Miss Radiant State, Miss Sylvia Diaz. And then the people, Ebenezer, I always was school where focus on a lot on the arts. Every year, the Festival of Arts, we go there, we mash up, we bring home so much gold at 117 Barak Road. Miss Flas Casasola, who was a legendary musician, educator, music teacher in the Belize Pantheon. She done me for we choir mistress. Every year, Miss Flas write song for we go perform the Festival of Arts. Mengo the drop the bap juicy bokot, a go in the bird's eye for the tent. She writes song every year with it, and from then I just know.
On had a living model. On say one black woman.
Yes.
Write song.
Yes.
Oh, so this is one to live. So
she sit down at the piano and she put the music together, and then she write the lyrics and give over part. Oh no boy, oh no girl, yeah man go they drop the bop, and we coordinate the thing, and like I say. Right there, so I proud for that our product and Miss Flas and the Ebenezer staff. Then I people who kind of push me down the performance road. For morning I'm a reader. At my house, my mother may a seamstress. So when she done cut for she card and I ready for sew, she called me and my two little brother whap you in the chest with a book and tell you go sit down in your corner. When you come from there 1 hour, 15 minutes from then, be able to deliver one oral book report, or else you're going to go sit down there for the next hour. That grew into a love of reading. I love read. That I spend most of my time when I know to work or do something, reading.
Where do you read right now?
Right now, I bring my 5 books. I got John Patterson because I read anything except romance. The reason being, romance always got a happy ending, and life doesn't like that. I like some twist.
No, so I would have really want you write to a romance poetry because then all romance have happy endings. So that the way connect me with the poetry because I just see myself, I'm like, hell, like I never know I got words to explain that feeling what I always feel, but I never know somebody could put it now. So the other way I want, broke my heart in the lyrics because I get broke heart too.
May I?
Go ahead, strong.
This poem name, She Cries. She's charming and she's sexy. She look good and she knows. She works out and it shows. Her personality is nice, so her respect is buff. She doesn't have a lavish life, but she has enough. She has 1 child, the father's gone, but that's a part of life. She knows now that he lied when he told her he'd leave his wife. She's wiser now and more mature. The world has passed her eyes. But deep behind that sparkling smile, when she's alone, she cries. She cries over mistakes she's made and wrongs she has endured. She cries because it's a long, long time since she's been reassured. For dreams she once had for herself, which with time have been shattered, and for the compromises over things that really mattered. The tears she sheds help wash away the burden of her sorrows, and vents that which internalized might take away tomorrow. She has her son who needs her love. She'd never leave him standing. Her needs are tearing her apart, but his are more demanding. From time to time, she opens up and heeds the call of nature. But when the lust is satisfied, her love of self is greater. So back she goes to her own world until the next occasion when she sees fit to take a hit for self-gratification. If ever you encounter her, I beg of you, be tender. Her heart has been betrayed before, and that's what she remembers. She's so afraid to love because love brings teardrops to her eyes. So please remember, when it all is said and done, she cries.
Respect, respect, respect is due. Respect is due. Respect is due. So, how you describe your personal evolution over the years, your growth and development? Because this is a compilation of this book, right?
Yes, it is.
Because this is the first time we get a book of poetry.
Very first
so
ever.
When we read this, like we aren't getting a Kenny Morgan guts now. We aren't know what he both know. Well, we're supposed to carry the way it's supposed to bleed in the book.
Yes,
how would you describe your growth?
The growth that just based on influences and looking around and wanting to make a difference. Most of the poems, they have one very direct message, and while people say I should focus on one international flavor, my poems are more Belize-centric because they were reflection of the things that I experience, the people who I talk to, the different happenings in my life and why it's happening in other people's life. We just sit down, put it together, and the expressions then come out.
What do you think make your writing and delivery distinctly different? I mean, you stay in it while other people can't go, they don't get the support, they don't get no book published, they don't have no big grand opening. What make your experience distinctly different from for day one? For make you stay in it with the longevity and the learning? I mean, you're a mature man and you do this your whole life.
Yes.
What do you think contribute to that?
I love what I do, I'm doing what I love, and I believe that it will have an impact. I believe if you don't talk for talk's sake, better you not talk. Say something when I reach somebody. Say something when I have, most importantly, one positive impact. When somebody used to jump up, hala, la, la, re, re, and make rhymes, and then they easy. But the content must always be something where uplifting, and if you can't get to the level of uplifting, enlightening, where open a person's mind, make them start to think about what situation, about what action, about what thing, about what person, but they think about it in a critical way or make them address the situation with a view to making a change.
Well, it's a two things where I think that one big disadvantage where most poets won't have. One, the big influence you had at a young age with your mom.
Yes.
You want to read.
Yes.
And you want to read.
I love that.
When second again, you are spend another hour 15 minutes. The teachers at your school,
yes,
as far as you say, you know it's possible for me to write. I see this black woman write, and we get recognized
good role models
collectively.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, because you continue to read. So I think that distinctly different with you and other people who are poets. And that one show up in their work. But brother, the majority of Belizeans are struggling. That's another thing. I'm like, who you think I'm by this? Majority of Belizean people are struggling readers or are unable to read. And not just the real. The Ministry of Education not have, right now as we talk, they only check standard 2 and 3 students as a rate to literacy. I don't know comprehensive. So infant 1, infant 2, standard 1, standard 4, standard 5, standard 6. Right now, there's no adequate testing. I know this not to happen. This been to happen. And then they're into social promotion. So there is no repeat if you're not mastering skills. So who you think can buy this book? Knowing that one lot away, none of for read, struggle to read, $20, how much will you get paid? $5 an hour. No, I must say the minister see one cab sick, do the minister buy a book, but who you really want to buy this book?
Whosoever buy the book, I want satisfied with that. The thing is not for buy the book and keep it hidden. Because if you buy one book, then it's supposed to reach out. I have no problem with the book being passed on to somebody else because the knowledge, the information, the expressions, that we have to get out there. We look for stimulate thought. We look for stimulate people get involved in a different situation after they don't observe it. Whatever influence the book have, where the book turn in our direction there. Then you use that direction there and that impetus there for make a change, whether your situation, somebody close to you, or a community situation. Because like I said, the book comes from all different angles. We got a poem like that one just now. That I'm all about.
Give me another one before you go.
Man, if you serious.
Give me another one. Yes, man. You're with the law, remember you're the original crime. Give me another one with either the book.
I do appreciate this one. Your name.
Make a seat.
This one, yes, man. This one, your name service. If while you look, I could go ahead and do that. Service. I mean, a short while ago, you remember good when they packed me the bile and bubble. Some made the hustle red, some made the hustle blue, and the smart one they made the hustle double. Election time once again, I believe, and as usual, all the politicians, they made it wrong on about just the fling sweet mouth as they fight for control with nation. That then we hear who lie, and then we hear who thief, and we hear who made give away the country. And for just a little while, everybody equal, and every pocket hold on to a little money. Piece of land, no problem. A house, it's a deal. Every request receive a sure promise. Oh, you could drop in a call any old time at all. You always welcome at my office. But since the celebration after the election, people wonder if they vote waste. Dutch cheese don't have nothing over so an minister. And I don't mean that they stink, but they're scarce. All people keep the year, but no money, no they. But the ministers, they catch another flight. Then they mark overseas while we struggle at Belize, and somehow it just not seem right. The things where we feel don't affect the big wheel, they got big dog, and yard, and barbed wire. But they need to take care, because the smoke in the air mean that somewhere not far is a fire. Now when fire come through, he no beg no friend. He burn up paper, lumber, or plastic. Make iron get black, make cement black crack, because when fire come drastic. I said it was a short while ago. Remember good when the people put the pot on the fire. Now the time for the cook and the helpers try look. We start serve the people their dinner.
Respect, respect. How you come up with the two questions before we go. One, how you choose the pictures there in the book? We have to show somebody a picture. How you choose the pictures there in the book, and then how you come up with a collaboration with Imagination Factory?
Actually, the collaboration, the answer in the reverse side, the collaboration come up because we do some work with Stone Tree Records. We're in the process right now with the work on the Belize Music Project, where we are revitalize and revive all the Belize folk songs that exist. And we are add today, we are among the new folk songs that are currently being written, created by one crew of Belizean artists who put together. Based on that, the contact was made, and Ivan Duran hooked me up with publisher Imagination Factory, Yasser Musa. We still don't going to talk about it. That was a long time story, because a long time I got good admiration for the man and the work with him and they do that niche. I used to always praise the man as one of the best directors niche ever had. And I don't know that at the same time he decided to say, why can the man and the one the body sport wrong? So when Ivan make the connect, I call him, I talk to her, and the man invite me over to the office. We sit down and talk. He say, I hear your works long time and interest me to publish it. And we sit down and talk, work out the details, and now we have Imagination Factory.
How much you got for sale?
The first print right now, my goal is to sell 6,000 of the books.
Okay.
Between now and September, because September we intend for the part 2, which what we call peeps. So this first one here, that if you think the lie, the whole Belizean proverb, if you think the lie, peeps say. This first book, if you think the lie, the second one, peeps say, and down the stretch when you get to part 3, that one, if you're pretty boy, you can't come in.
I like it says Kenny Morgan, if you think that like Kenny Morgan, the writings and ravings of a Belizean poet. Now, I really have great value because I started to say I forget one of the Belizean proverbs. So I'm forget then 3 days. If you think that lie, people say, and if you're not pretty, not come in.
You're pretty, but you can't come in.
You're pretty, but you can't come in. Like you were in the 70s that like all we talked about Belizean proverbs. But I like that hurt me that we lose it. So I really value again the role, my position of poets, artists, creatives, the more than performance and entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
It ought to be only that is storytellers, only that the cultural bearers, only that the people will have a responsibility to remind we who what part we come from, where we still have to go. And make we know say we
Yes,
matter to that we in our lyrics, verses, pages, that we and I really okay, this will be the last question for you. The inner Creole.
We have in a Creole and English, but the majority.
How do you manage the Creole? You actually use the Creole dictionary, or you just go for your own creativity?
I do all the writing in a one Creole where I make up. But then we gone to the expert that will bring in Silvana Odes. And Silvana come in and she, along with Katinumi Ocean and the people who are responsible for the actual collating, the putting together the book. And Silvana got it well translated in the Belize Creole.
Well, you know, they could put it how they want. We want kind of know how to the Texas.
Yeah.
But I really, and I said to people, Creole that the language of African people, African descendants, racialized as black people. I think 17, 18 with people in Koyad and Konita, different languages from different countries and nations. And then they buck up on this English language and they had to come up with something what then correlate. And that's why the one language are resistance. Like just the fact that you're in a Creole. In fact, I want to buy this book for you. You got what more I want for selling?
It will, I'll bring you again. Come, miss.
It's a way to talk about you know. It's like, no. You don't listen to me. I just say, but the fact that book come available, no. You supposed to work with them book, brother.
After launch tomorrow. That the launch is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So I give you my word here on national radio and TV. I will deliver your complimentary copy to you, Miss. You don't have to buy.
No, I want to support the cause.
Then you have to buy one next one because I still want to give you one complimentary.
All right.
You will get so if you want, you could buy one next one.
I done, him a long show, I done. Remember tomorrow morning, at 10 o'clock at the Bliss Center for Performing Arts, public presentation. Think the Lie by Kenny Morgan.
Yes.
It gave two, and this is another thing, you know, it's how you know say people. This is how I know say people read it today. You see that how much pages in here? That the man could just spit without even open the book. Or number that will write poetry book now, then come to read. I'm like, then you write the poem? No, we didn't read the book. No, this is just me. Now remember now, I grew up in the 70s. So I grew up that Bliss in the Blue Chair and performing arts. I come from Wagner's Lane, Miss Hall. I had a seasoned artist. So my standard high, but salute, brother, respect. I appreciate the time.
I appreciate the time.
I'm kind of push out, you know, because I'm like, But respect, Morris, respect. I mean, a good cause, brother, on the show. Alan, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I encourage Belizeans. I'll try my best to go tomorrow, and I encourage Belizeans to go. I really, I know school not on right now, but if parents could bring their children, I mean, it is work. I hope I record it.
Well, it will be recorded and based on, yes, it will be live stream. A couple of different media on the carry live stream on different houses.
All right.
And actually, I'm glad for the opportunity because we may think about doing it wrong. But based on the response and amount of people who sit in a call, I don't know if the wrong one could hold the code, which would be very encouraging for see that there amount of people, because over the years, but like you said, the responsibility that with the Belizean artists put out quality material and people want to support it. If we put out Bangarang, then we get Bangarang support. Thank you very much for the time.
Respect, brother. Thanks. I look
that.
forward and try my best to attend tomorrow. Remember now, 10 o'clock tomorrow. I'll talk about it tomorrow upon WB as well.
I don't want to have up the time. I done? My time done?
Yeah, you're done. We're going to break.
Okay, because
anything you want to say before you go? Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, next point, my man. I left your work.
You say I'm stretching or can't go and break 8 o'clock, but I'm a lawyer. Give me another one for a party.
Because this one important and I want to check this out.
Respect.
Not never in the house to eat, but the new school year me start the week, so she bathe and change and hit the street with uniform pleat and hair comb neat. Go in the school in the bridal heat, because the legal no want to repeat. Walk past a house I smell fried cake. Well, that only make the woman wake. Bogo dup. Hear the belly vibrate. Song as if the woman demonstrate. You walk faster because you don't want to get late. Wipe the sweat for a fry with the back of your hand. Go across the street for a violent crazy man. Then you catch the aroma from the taco stand. Boy, I wish you could have eat even one, but you never even got shilling in your hand. So she walk leave farther, go around 2 bend. Here one voice say, psst, let's go then. Lift up the head. Guess who is it? Ken, who get deported for way back when, who long time they try make friend, and who she here like spend. Well, I want quick look up and down the street for make sure no long mouth the peep for see a creep go run and beat go speak when they're not supposed to speak like they can't make their mouth stop leak or when they talk they create heat. Then with a youthful innocence, she forget all the innocence we learned from Granny Millicent who raised her since her mama went to England to live with Vincent and never one day sent a cent. So into the car the little girl went. Ken said, let's go ride that beach. Baby, she said, no right now, boy, I feel hungry. He said, no worry about that. I got money. Yo, John Pratt, give me a 10.50. Plus one crystal juice for this young lady. And 5 max here, make him out no stink for me. When she bow over the plate and get busy, she know see how can I get glassy. Next thing she know, she the under attack. So you do the only thing when you know, fight back, give up the what? She never bargained for that. And in a Ken mind boy, something snap, I mean crack, pot jack, just like that. Now Miss Millicent, granddaughter life just stop. Nothing still there in the house to eat, but midterm exam they begin next week. So she made and change and hit the street with the hair comb neat, the uniform pleat, going to school through the boiling heat, go try succeed where his sister get defeat. I just hope we not see history repeat.
Respect. Respect. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, Bliss. Kenny Morgan. to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for Tuesday, April 22nd. We just had Belizean poet Kenny Morgan for Big Up, a book of poetry released tomorrow. If you think that lie, I had an opportunity for because I'm there, for experience his vibration and his expression of the realities of life for a lot of Belizean that believes. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock at Bliss. So come out, bring on a $20 Belize dollars. If you don't want dollars, you could do that too and buy 2 books and give one to somebody. It matters. The number is 280-5848. Somebody may call earlier and ask them for call back during this segment. So you can call back now. 280-5848. Call and you could share and talk about anything you want to talk about. Oh, somebody text me and tell me my number is never correct, and I appreciate that. That's why this is our community conversation. We get the thing right. So the brother would text me say, so what the brother say, right? He say, for every contract, regardless of performance, right now CEOs are currently making 76,000 Belize dollars per annum times 2 years contract. Now this is before the raise, because they gone from 76,000 to 88,000. So this was before the raise. So the contract for 2 years, so at 76,000 Belize dollars per annum, it's 152,000 plus the 30,000 20% gratuity equal 182,000 divided by 2 years is 91,000 per year. This is before the raise. And so then the weekly, that means 1,750. That was CEOs will make before March 13, 2025. 1,750 Belize dollars before taxes. And of course, it can be much more after the raise. With the raise, they will make 127,000 per week. That's 2,442 Belize dollars per week. And we talk about CEOs. Before taxes, $2,442 per week. Initially, he said I had missed the $20 gratuity for each contract. I never knew that. The brother got on to say most CEOs don't work hard, don't know their job, and are not qualified. They're merely political lackeys. They cannot say no to illegal things and wrongdoing. They're deafening quiet on corruption. CEOs make 10 times more per week than the average person. They can eat, sleep, drive, wear good clothes, drink, party, and get medical care 10 times better than the average Belizean. He said, bless up Kenny, good man, humble. That was brother. Thanks, brother, for sharing that information, and I get it right. Remember the phone number, that 280-5848, 280-5848. Call and anything you want to weigh in pan this morning, you can weigh in pan. I definitely, I tell you now, I really come with low vibration this morning for a number of reasons, and even though I'm reluctant for the guests, I'm really thankful for having Kenny Morgan on. It definitely raised my vibrations, and I encourage other Belizean artists. Morning, talk to it. Thanks for call.
My sister,
tell me.
I have no idea opinion on the cross country.
Brother, really? All right. You know, some of the things that when I said are my original thoughts, and some of what other people say, and other people, that's what I say. So first off, I mean, a big letdown. I never in the city. When I hear I was Bex. And then later on I hear, like, this is why I hear, you ask me why I can't say about the cross country. That the Belize Cycling Federation pop down, like they're known for pop down. They're not as organized as they ought to be. That is the second one I get. And then the third one I get is why they open up this race to international people. For we people not dead at their levels, and that are just the truth. So they want disadvantage to bring in the international people. But that are my 2 cents. Make I get your 2 cents now.
Well, with the international people, I think we can't avoid that, because then if we want bring up the riders to a certain level, we have to bring them competition so that they could train, so that when they go out, the country go ride, I believe they feel what it is to ride against foreigners.
But it's unfair though, because the international people get paid for train. They don't work 9 to 5 and they make $5 an hour if then they work. They don't. Huh?
I get this, sister, right? I want to get down, I want to say that the money where the government is paid the group of people in charge of the gang members, they have to pay that money to the people who want to be cyclists, who want to go into sports and make them off to work like what they say. They kind of waste some money to go to those people, because they still have violence, they still have murder, people still they cut off people's heads. Man, I mean, all the money where they waste only for the people where they in the office, and the one where they get it, they just laugh and continue their waste.
So and I hear you. There needs to be money invested seriously with credible people.
Exactly.
I agree.
They start to invest the money where we invest foolishly. So they pretend that this they happen, but you know that that not happen. And invest it in the youth.
So what else are your 2 cents from the race?
Well, my 2 cents from the race, I not just got 2 cents. I'm a sponsor of prize and I'm disappointed too. But I want to share the same sentiments so you to share that they guys, that's their job to ride, and that's the reason why they say that the money where they invest foolishly for gang members, they should invest it for the athletes, the people ever want something.
Brother, I know I say that they shouldn't invest in youths who are troubled. I just feel like I tired of the patchwork. You got some of the same people where they sit down in a seat for years. Low other people were younger, were more creative, like that they're not just, they don't have meaningful leadership overall in this country. Departments act independent, they're like the money they get squandered and we not get value for the money, people quality of life not improve. So yes, I agree, sure, we need to rethink how our money is being spent to make we get value for it in a meaningful way. And we know over and over again that sports are one of the ways. I mean, look on the program where Polo have, for example. Look on the program where Dagi have, for example. I meet a brother out of Kikaka this week, Russell, Russell Leslie Jr., father me a football player too. You have people who are really trained, know what they talk about, credible people, loaded people, stop the people who got colonial papers without a friend or company way. Just stop. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Don't ever give a prize.
Huh?
What prize you may give?
A cash prize.
Okay.
A station prize.
Respect to that, brother. I appreciate the people that will give the station prize.
I really still think that the money where they pay, invest in the gangs, the most of the money go to the office people and that's a shame. But that is also wrong. Because if you could give, you could say, okay, we open one institution, one office for anybody who want to be an athlete, and this is your job, and you have to report and you have to ride. Imagine you have the cyclist to ride for, you have to have to do a turn back, and then race day you want to ride for, you have to car you and come back. Come on, that's not the adult.
I hear you, brother. I mean, again, I really have to respect Belizeans like you were solid, could afford to put in the money on them out there in a station prizes, stay involved in the conversation. You know me a cyclist?
No, but I love the cycling. When I smile, I love the cycling, but I know the cycling, but I love it and I decide to sponsor station prize. But I mean, I disappointed, but I understand the sentiments that you share.
Yeah, the big Right, tell you, cross country.
But fortunately, years back, we managed to render it, to keep it home. But you know, it's.
I don't know, like, I hear them talk about headwind. I don't know, I don't understand none of that language there. So you think that may a hard race for ride, especially coming back?
Yes, it was a difficult race. I was behind the race and I was in front of the race, but it was a very difficult race. It was a very windy. The breeze was very strong and it was very tough. It's not an easy thing. That's why I mentioned that you cannot just say you will ride a couple miles and then you decide to ride 140 miles. that won't work.
I can ask you, you know if one them brother train for the cross country, they actually in and training ever?
I don't think, I'm not sure. I won't speculate, but I haven't seen it. I'm on the road sometimes and I haven't seen no one riding from either Cayo to Belize and back for training, nor Belize to Cayo and back for training. I haven't seen that. Again, it's not their job. So maybe the ones that do it, they have a job and they only have a couple hours sponsored by the entity that they work for.
I wonder because every month, because of the BZE National Natural Hair Law 2024, what the organization what I represent though, I know once a month I walk from Vista Mar to Belize City at 10 miles. So I know if I have the stamina for the 10 miles that the rest of the 3 weeks of the year, of the month, I have to train for make sure so that's why I ask if the brother ride.
Exactly. That's why I mentioned to you. I see most of the time they ride from Belize to Hattiville and back, and that's it. That will not help.
Yeah. I need to hear.
Then we have our very own entity like YaYa, BL. They could adopt riders. They could have, just like how they have business that adopt roundabout to chop and clean them. Adopt a rider, man. Come on. BL, where YaYa for one boast of millions of dollars making out the poor people. Come on, man. Adopt a 2, 3, 4 riders, man.
Brother, I agree with you. 100% I agree with you, brother. And I really appreciate you putting the call, make a stretch talking pan the. I never the stretch talking pan because I know my feelings. But I appreciate your call, make a stretch talking pan because sometimes we need to have uncomfortable conversations, even when we know our feelings. So just be real about our experiences as Belizean. Holy Saturday. And that's why when I read the news this morning and I hear how a whole lot of Belizean left the ending of the race before they come in, I'm like, good, if I'm there, I left too. You know, so vote with your foot.
I love the sport. I love all the partying and everything that happened in Belize. But I would have preferred BL, Tour Sport, YaYa, all them guys that got riders and let them work for rides. And instead of just saying, so much thousand goes to Carnival and so much thousand goes to this. Come on, man, adopt a rider and make we hear.
And then not only that, but like BEL and BWS, the majority shareholders, the Belizeans. So we are to have one say so, but for them budget, like we should have one say so, we say, where we want the money go to. Now remember now, this is the same BEL we're putting the PUC for increase their rates. And one of the things then asked for 46 million Belize dollars to keep things running in at 2025, and that includes salaries, repairs, etc. They asked for 65.6 million Belize dollars to correct past under collections from 2023, and they asked for 395 million Belize dollars in new projects like better power lines and new equipment, and this is a BEL 2025 rate increase proposal. Now I think this gone in the 4th of April. By the 11th of April, they have one week later, Friday, they have a community consultation. Of course, the special interest people don't show up, but we, the everyday people, don't show up. And the HANA PUC need to have more of these community awareness in our language where people could understand on the community. Now they have that no hotel. So I agree with you, brother, about the utility services in particular, adopting a rider or a team.
Yes, it's a very good idea. And again, like what you mentioned, you guys were having a conversation earlier about ministers having 3-4 CEO. Come on, man, get rid of some of the CEO there and let that money go to BL or whatever to help her. They need help too. They need to send someone to investigate too why BL is asking for so much. They're spending so much, thousands of Belizean poor people money in uniform. The same thing with social security. There's a lot of entities that need to be pressured. You have the Belize City Council. Man, you could barely move in a Belize City Council among employees when they have in there than workers outside on the street.
I hear you, brother. I have to go a break, but big thanks for the call. Enjoy your day.
Take care.
One love. Break time.
In Belize, we've
Welcome back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes for Tuesday morning after Easter weekend, long Easter weekend. Respect to everybody who enjoy the Easter, who stay home and in the pool. Big respect to organizers at Jane Usher, Sister Latanya. I show me show wait. I have to show you the pictures. I had Sister Latanya on a couple weeks ago. And so I'm checking with her for asking how the, remember me to ask for assistance for Jane Usher community Easter community gathering, and they make it happen. So I want to share some pictures with you where she shared with me was on Easter Sunday. So thanks to the people who contributed to the Jane Usher community Easter Sunday bashment at the football field. Sister Latanya, his sister, and everybody else were organized in the community. There are people who are in our working class community, primarily African descendants, specialized as black people, who come together every year for make it happen for the children in that community with supervision. Look for in big pool. Jane Usher community in the football field. Thanks, Sister Latanya. And then he still had to go to work, Do all of that and still had to go to work. He couldn't get the day off. So, at great sacrifice. We have some very serious, committed, hardworking, creative community organizers throughout this country. A lot of time we not sitting, we not hearing, we don't know what to do. Beautiful things are happening in our community. Oh, somebody send me one text. Make a read this text. Alexa, anybody have any message from Facebook? Make I tell you what this person said. This person said, morning, the unions are a non-entity. The moment they accepted without a cry 10% salary reduction for not sacrificing, that day was a thermometer for the administration. GOB then knew that unions are bought and secure. And so, since the morning start, a community event, one number of things. The loss of Belizean artist Consigo, that one hit. That one hit that because just a couple of weeks ago, we lose Brother Aurelio Martinez. And so these are young black brothers. Consigo was known just high energy. Not like I know I'm not good. I don't say about high energy, funny, dedicated daddy, dedicated. Anything you're seeing with the youth there. And not often you see it, so I always recognize, especially black brothers, when I sit in with the youths, working class brother, I always clean off, sell barbecue, creative, vibrant, young too. And according to the news story, which I never know, they say he get knocked down. So I don't know who knocked the brother. I mean, we have to wait and see what come out of it. Condolences to his immediate family, his extended family, the music family, and I respect the the musicians, and ask for him getting a funeral like a Belizean artist of his stature deserves. He has earned it. Big respect. I always remember Consigo. I don't know the song Namule, but I hear most say, Holy Saturday morning, that is known for sit down, panita and bunks or something will go like that. We people and they talk for the reality. I come from the Determined to Hustle Studio, DTH. I tell them the right wrong the lane. I got a niece, Makeda. There's another sister, Rondine. There was King. Mohini, Picard, Nello. Not like I know a lot of them. But there's another, I forget this one. I can't remember the name. But I can't remember all of them. Just because I'm going to have the conversation with Makeda and she may name some of the people with me in the studio at the time. The plywood studio, like 3 rooms. But beautiful things come out of that space. Back at Martin's again. So, yeah, it's rough. It's rough for that family right now. And then we talked about the salary increases that the CEOs and Cabinet Secretary gets retroactive to March 13th, the day after election 2025 in Belize. No national budget. The leader of the opposition, African descendant, racialized as black, I don't know what stop say it, Because I know for young opinion people is when Dean Barrett am the Prime Minister of this country, the black Prime Minister believes I want to know why Major House not to ring up that the black leader of the opposition, woman, yes, it a woman, but please recognize it a black woman. Please give people and credit. We have a black sister as the leader of the opposition. It had quite a bit to say, especially as it relates to the salary increase and not having a budget as yet, a national budget for the 2025-2026 calendar fiscal year, and that there's not a justification for it. There's no, it never gone to the House, there's no reasoning. The CABSEC sent it to the financial secretary like, we can't make this book. Morning, talk to it. Thanks for call.
Yeah. The two sports that are struggling in Belize are a comparison with the Belize national team.
The call dropped. All right, caller, you could go ahead and call back. I don't know what happened, but the call dropped. Yes, so I just want to go over quickly some of the conversations we had this morning. Our brother Colleen from Penny, Punta Gorda, the complaint. Morning, talk to it.
Yeah, the two sports, cycling and soccer, those two sports in Belize need 8 hours of training. So it's not fair for international riders to come to Belize, but what do you think about soccer?
I don't know what it going with your call, brother. I drop again. Yeah, so the brother calling from Penny, they complain about the crime down there. He complain about employment for people down there. He complain about the professional standards branch that, you know, if you have one complaint where you want to make that Penny, you shouldn't have to come all the way up that Belmopan, go back down, come back again. That, you know, there has to be, by now, some ways for people to access certain services without having to left the community for actively use that service. Morning, brother. One more time. Try again. Tell me.
All right. Good morning, YaYa.
Morning.
Hi, man. This is Dean Flowers from the Public Service Union.
Yes.
Yes, I missed part of the show, but I did listen to your commentary on the issue of the proposed salary increases now. But in relation to that, I just wanted to make a comment this morning on a news item that I saw on Thursday from the former Commissioner of Police, soon to be, or already is, CEO in the Department of Transport. The comments that he gave suggest that the increase seem to be necessary based on the fact that he was making more money as commissioner than his CEO. And as such, he is also saying that if he was to take the position of CEO, in his view, it's a demotion because he's earning less money. And so clearly it would appear then that to appease him, the CABSEC would have taken the decision that was taken. But I have several issues with that, which I won't get into this morning. But what I want to highlight is that he would have also said in justification for that increase, or that whereby our CEOs was to now get this increase, and I guess to match his salary, is that he would have said that public officers, and he said, as public officers, and I will quote him verbatim here, as public officers, we get increase every year. And that's not accurate. There is a category of public officers, especially those at the lower end of the pay scale. Those laborers in the Ministry of Works, those domestic workers in the Ministry of Agriculture, again, urban laborers, who have not seen a salary increase for as long as they've been with government. And that could span anywhere between 5 to 20 years. There is also another category of workers in the National Health Insurance hired under the Ministry of Health public sector portion of that scheme who don't get increases. And so I want to make it clear that not all public officers get increment annually. And for those who get an increment, for the most part, they have to earn that increment, and there are several who don't earn it for whatever reason. So we need to dispel of that notion that our public officers get an increase. And then he goes on to say that during the duration of a CEO term, while there's an increase in the cost of living, they don't get any increase, and so public officers, therefore, in terms of salary adjustment, would be ahead of the CEO. I think that the Commissioner of Police clearly was asleep during his contract law classes, because there is no way in terms of salary adjustment that public officers could be ahead of CEOs, because at the end of their contract, which is a 2-year contract for the most part, they get a 20% gratuity. And so to suggest that public officers get a 3% increment, and we'll argue about that 3% because on average it's 2.5%. But if you look at a 2-year term, that's 5% salary adjustment that some public officers would get. In comparison, that a CEO get 20%. So they are already 4 times ahead of public officers in terms of a change in salary at every 2 years. So I think that needs to be clearly stated, that his comments were misleading, whether deliberate or not, but they were misleading to suggest that CEOs' base salary and their base salary may remain stagnant over 2 years period. But again, when you go back to the negotiating table, you get what you negotiate for. But even if it remains constant over a 5-year term, they still get a 20% gratuity, which changes that dynamics altogether compared to the 2.5% that public officers or certain public officers would get on an annual basis if they were to pass the appraisal. No? And I just wanted to comment on that, just for people to be clear that what he suggested, that CEOs do not get a salary change, is misleading, and it does not necessarily reflect the true picture of what happens with their salary where their contract is concerned.
I appreciate you calling in, stretching that conversation. I mean, want to get 2 cents before we got to break, Dean. Somebody text earlier and say, the unions are a non-entity the moment they accepted without a cry 10% salary reduction for not sacrificing. That day was a thermometer for the administration. GOB then knew that unions are bought and secure. You want to respond to that text?
Yeah. Well, again, the union is a microcosm of the wider society. The 2,000 plus members in the public service union, compared to the almost 7,000 that are eligible to join, is a reflection, a direct reflection of each one of our households. When people join the union, they do not fall out of the sky. They come out of our households. And so if within our households, we're teaching our children to be complacent. We're not educating them. We're not opening their eyes. We're not showing them how to speak up and stand up and call out injustices, call out corruption, not to participate. We're complicit. So there seems to be this notion that once you're a union member, you become a special breed of dog. But the reality is, YaYa, if your child come out of your household and joins the workforce, and all that child has seen throughout his or her life is basically a red or a blue flag, and you ride with the minister, and speak against the minister because your brother get a lead scholarship or your sister get a lead job, and your mother the secretary. That's the culture. We're selfish. So when you join the union, it's normally to enjoy some privilege that you're able to enjoy, or as some people say, join the union when you get in trouble and could defend them, which is again for the wrong reason. But the reality is that the unions that one reflection of each and every one of our households in reality. So you cannot expect that the union will be a different reflection of what society is dishing out. That will be my comment on that.
Respect, brother. Thank you for answering the question. Make I go take a quick break. I expect for hear you tune in more. I don't know what I'm be the answer for this, but this is salary book. Not a go down good.
Well, just as an update, YaYa, I agree with you. We ought not to sit back. But it will be interesting to see what would be the response from the government. I can say to you that they are the minority of public officers who are prepared to take a stand up for ourselves. Of course, we will be meeting this morning with our sister unions to chart a way forward in terms of how we respond. But again, if we go back to the 10% cut, clearly the vast majority of public officers were more concerned in securing their own well-being than recognizing that the impact would have been bigger than their own household. This had huge social implication on a wider sector, including the private sector. But people don't see that way. It's all about me, 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 me. So we're meeting this morning. I don't know if a public statement will be made after that meeting, but I'm pretty quite sure that our general membership, and of course always the wider public, will be apprised of the course of action that we intend to take. And we move on. We take it one day at a time with the intention to ensure that not only public officers are treated fairly, but the wider Belizean people, because like I said, most of the problems that we encounter, if the public service is inefficient and we're not getting value for money, the buck stops at the top, and the CEOs are the chief executive officers. So if they're failing as head, as accounting officers, if they are failing, then how do you justify these continuous salary increases for them? So there are some of the questions that, of course, the government will have to answer. And like I said, I will be in tune. Of course, I have to. I'm a union leader, so I have to be in tune in terms of what's the national sentiment is about these things, and then we'll keep the Belizean people abreast in terms of how we move forward.
Big respect, Brother Dean Flowers, President of the PSU. Break time.
Take a deep breath.
back to Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. The time for Shut the Shop. 9 and 9. I give thanks to everybody who live stream, who tuning for a regular TV channel, regular radio channel. Thank you. We could not do this without people. The really people fueling fence. And that was part of power there. And we want to thank the security guard, Roger Rushford, known as Rapper, now Shane Flowers. Shane the downstairs, Alexei. Master Chief Operator Alexei Belisle, engineer here at XTV, Brother Cliff Lewis. Your birthday on Saturday, you know. I'm not telling you how old I'm because we might win Valido tonight. And then downstairs in Creme Radio, we have Larry Guerrero, known as Larry G. We want to thank, we had our guest today, Kenny Morgan. Remember, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock at the Bliss Institute. It will have a book for sale for $20 Belize if you don't think that lie. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock at the Bliss. And this show will repeat at 3:30 today on XTV. Make good choices. Remember, say, honor the people and save the people. And with health and strength, I should be back tomorrow. Honor the people and save the people.
Wake up, Belize. 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 Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show by people. Belize our hopes up to needless reason. Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's all we need to build a nation. We are the people to make the changes.